वो डिस्कस कर रहे हैं कि कौन सा मेथड हमें कहाँ पे अप्लाई करना है एंड हाउ टू रिमेंबर द फॉर्मूला, एंड देन आफ्टर वी गो फॉर द final practical question. So first we have cost of equity capital. How many methods are there for calculating the cost of equity capital? 5 methods are there for calculating the cost of equity capital. Now one by one. The first is all about dividend price approach method. Which method? Dividend price approach method. The first one. Can you tell me the formula? KE is equal to D upon NP. Yes, please. So please remember, whenever in a practical question, equity share is specific given to you and rate of dividend is given to you. What two parameters? One is some way written like equity shares, and number two, rate of dividend or dividend in terms of rupees. If this both things are only there, then we need to apply the first method of cost of equity. Are we clear? Okay. Second method, method number 2, that is dividend price plus growth approach. Okay. Here growth means G. So for your easy understanding, जब भी G आएगा यानी कि जब भी गर्लफ्रेंड आएगी तो हम कौन सी मेथड अप्लाई करेंगे? सेकंड. कौन सी? सेकंड मतलब growth. What is the formula? Formula remains same. K is equal to D upon NP plus G. G यानी growth. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Here you need to remember these two parameters. One is dividend is given to you plus growth is given to you. If 2 is given to you, you need to apply second method. Now number 3, earning price approach. Earning price approach. Formula is very simple. E divided by NP. Please remember, whenever in a practical question, आप कोई लिख नहीं रहे हो तो मुझे पता नहीं कि आपकी मेमोरी कितनी साफ है. Okay, but whenever in a practical question, only earning is given to you. No information about the dividend. About the dividend, nothing is given. Only the earning, net profit is given to you. At a time, you need to apply the third method. Are we clear? Okay. Number 4, which method? Bond yield plus risk premium. We don't have any practical questions from this method, but when the question asks, okay, in a theoretical question like 8-mark question, explain the methods of calculating cost of capital, you need to mention this method. Bond yield plus risk premium, and you need to write the concept and you need to write the formula. Only 2 things that you need to write. Number 1 is concept and number 2 is formula. Theoretically, practical questions we don't have. And last one is number 5 is
CAPM.
CAPM stand for Capital Assets Pricing Model. And what is the formula?
RF plus BF.
Yes. RF plus BF in bracket RM minus RF. So whenever in a practical question we have BA, अब क्या याद रखना है? बॉयफ्रेंड. जब भी हमारे साथ बॉयफ्रेंड होगा तो कौन सी मेथड आएगी? CAP. Are we clear?
Yes,
if we have girlfriend, then method number 2, GP divided by D divided by NP plus G. Now here in case if the beta factor is given to you in a practical question, if beta factor is given to you, you need to apply method number 5. Are we clear about 1 to 5?
Yes, sir.
1, only dividend rate. Number 2, dividend plus growth. Number 3, only earning, no dividend. And number 5, beta factor is. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Bolding इनके practical questions है नहीं तो मैं उसका याद रखने का कोई टेंशन ही नहीं. Now coming to the next number 2, cost of preference capital. How many types of shares are there for calculating the cost of preference shares? Only 2. irredeemable and redeemable. For irredeemable, dp divided by np. Please remember whenever the question about the irredeemable preferences, you need to be very clear. Okay, here only 8% preferences are there. How many? 8%. It may a 10%, it may a 12%, but only preferences word is there. Which one? Only preferences. In case of redeemable preferences, you will find that redeemable after 8 years. Okay. If you look at to the previous question, I think so in slide number 14, or no, on a 15. See here, in a question number 10, is there any information about the reduction of shares? Are we clear how to identify? If the preference shares is there and no information about the redeemable shares, then it is considered as irredeemable and you have to apply this formula. Kp is equal to dp divided by np. और डीपी हम किस तरह से याद रखेंगे? डीपी व्हाट्सएप वाला नहीं, कौन सा? डिविडेंड प्रेफरेंस. Okay, a dividend on preferences. Are we clear? If in a practical question we have preferences plus some information about the redeemable after X years, then we need to apply the second method of cost of preference capital, that is cost of redeemable preferences. Okay, अगर रिडीमेबल वर्ड कहीं पे भी प्रैक्टिकल क्वेश्चन में देखे तो हमें ये फॉर्मूला अप्लाई करनी है. अगर रिडीमेबल वर्ड नहीं है तो हमें प्रीवियस वाला मेथड अप्लाई करना है. आर वी क्लियर अबाउट दिस? ओके, व्हाट इज द फॉर्मूला फॉर दिस? अगर रिडीमेबल है तो सबसे जो लॉन्गेस्ट फॉर्मूला है, सबसे जो लेंथी वाली फॉर्मूला है वो अप्लाई होगी. आई एम राइट? नाउ द फॉर्मूला इज केपी इज इक्वल टू डीपी प्लस इन अ ब्रैकेट RV minus NP upon N entirely upon RV plus NP divided by 2. NPAR means no premium, no discount. It's like as a BEP, break even point. No profit, no loss. Are we clear about the preferences? If the redeemable word is there, we need to apply this formula. If nothing is given, only preferences is there, we need to apply the previous formula. Kp is equal to dp divided by np. Now same funda is applicable to redeemable debentures, as we are discussing the last practical question. See here, again the redeemable word is there, but with this redeemable, what we have debenture. So it is a part of cost of debt. अगर प्रेफरेंसेस एंड रिडीमेबल है तो वो कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रेफरेंसेस, रिडीमेबल प्रेफरेंसेस है. अगर यहाँ पे रिडीमेबल प्लस डिबेंचर्स है तो देन इट इज कंसीडर्ड एज कॉस्ट ऑफ डेट. फॉर्मूला रिमेन सेम, बट वी नीड टू ऐड वन मोर कंपोनेंट इन अपर साइड, दैट इज इन अ ब्रैकेट 1 minus t. If you see here and this, okay, this up to this remains same. Only we have added 1 minus 16 upper. Rest of things are same. Are we clear up to this? Okay, but one more thing. In a cost of debt, if the debentures are issued at a premium or discount at a time, the formula is look like this. KD is equal to I divided by NP in bracket 1 minus 2. Sorry, 1 minus T. Are we clear about this form? ये मेथड हमने कल के सेशन में डिस्कस की थी. 2 बजे जो हमारा सेशन होता था, हार्डली देर आर 20 to 25 स्टूडेंट इन अ क्लास. So most of the students are not there in the last class. Okay. Okay, now coming to the last practical question, and then after we move for the next one. Now, the last practical question number 11. Detail is with you. A company issues rupees 20 lakhs, 10% redeemable debenture at discount of 5%. Okay. So first, you need to identify the type of question. First, what is redeemable is there? Yes, it means it is a redeemable. Number two, preferences or debenture. Debentures. It means we need to use the formula for cost of debt, specifically when the debt issued with a premium or discount and debt is redeemable. Formula I have already written here. AD is equal to I. It is not 1, it is I. I stand for interest rate. If you want to write down, please write down this. AD, cost of debt, is equal to I plus, in a bracket, RB minus NP. Here RB means redeemable value. It is called redeemable value. Upon N, number of years, into 1 minus T, and entirely divided by RB, redeemable value plus NP, upon 2. See here, how many percentage is given to you? How many percentage of debentures? 10% redeemable debentures. So this 10% represent the interest rate. So I is equal to 10%. Or I can write like this. Okay, 10% or 0.10, both are right. Now moving ahead. Issued at a discount of 5%. And you know that NP is equal to face value minus discount minus issue expenses. So here face value is how many? Always is 100 for each and every practical question, whether it is equity shares, whether it is preference share, or whether it is debenture. It remains same 100 minus. Now 5% discount, 5% of 100 rupees 5 minus issue expenses. See, in the third line, something is given to you. The cost of flotation amount rupees 50,000. Whenever companies issue the debentures, the total cost of issuing debenture is 50,000. It is a total cost. So total cost is 50,000 for how many debentures? For how many debentures? See the amount. 20 lakhs. So first of all, you need to find the number of debentures, and then you need to find the issue cost per debentures. So I am writing here number of debenture is equal to total amount upon face value. Total amount upon face value. Here total amount is how many? 20 lakhs. Upon face value, it remains always 100. So company has issued 20,000 debentures. Are we clear about this? 20,000. ओके अगर किसी भी प्रैक्टिकल क्वेश्चन में सिर्फ अमाउंट दी है, नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स नहीं दिए, तो हम कैसे फाइंड करेंगे? टोटल अमाउंट डिवाइडेड बाय 100, because 100 is face value for each and every practical question. So here 20,000 debentures are there. Now coming to the next part. Issue expense in a bracket per debenture. PD stand for per debenture. See how many total expenses is given to you? 50,000 for how many debentures? 50,000 divided by 20,000, simple. Tell me the answer.
2.5.
2.5. Are we clear about this 2.5? मैंने सबसे पहले क्या किया, वापस एक बार रिपीट करता हूँ. टोटल अमाउंट को 100 से डिवाइड किया, नंबर ऑफ डिबेंचर्स मिलेंगे, उसी नंबर ऑफ डिबेंचर्स को मैंने यूज करके जो भी टोटल कॉस्ट था वह उसमें से पर डिबेंचर, अगर एक डिबेंचर मुझे इश्यू करना है कंपनी को तो कितना कॉस्ट लगेगा, 2.5. So here issue expense per debenture is 2.5. Now tell me the final answer of NP. Face value minus discount minus issue expense. It's 102.5. Now coming to the next, RV. RV. Redeemable value. Hundred plus 5. Sorry. It's 92.5. I'm right. It's 92. दोनों ही माइनस करने, दोनों ही माइनस करने. नो, दोनों ही माइनस करना है. चलो, coming to the next, RV. Now see here, the debentures are redeemable after 8 years. Is there any specification is given to you that redeemable after 8 years at a premium or at a discount or at a par? If nothing is given, we assume that it is par. Okay? अगर कुछ भी नहीं दिया है practical question में, we assume 100. In terms of issue, in terms of reduction. N means number of years. How many years? 8 years. And last one, T means tax rate. At the last time you tell me how many percentage?
65%.
Again I repeat, in a real world, the maximum tax rate is only 35%. Actually it is 34%. 30% is slab, final amount that you need to pay, and 4% is additional cess that you need to pay. That means unit means company need to pay. So it's 55%, 0.5. Are we clear about these 5 values? Any doubt? Because this having 8 marks in your final examination, in your mid examination. Now put the values. I 0.10 plus in a bracket RV 100 minus NP 92.5 bracket over upon N, number of years 8 into 1 minus 0.55 T entirely divided by RV 100 plus 92.5 upon 2. 0.10 plus in a bracket. Now 100 minus 92.5. How many? 7.5 upon 8 bracket over into 1 minus 0.55. 0.45 upon 100 plus 92.5. 192.5 upon 2 bracket over 0.10 plus 7.5 divided by 8. 0.9375. Sorry. And 192.5 upon 2. 97 point. 0.10 remains same. Now 0.9375 into 0.45. 0.4218 upon 96.25. To the final calculation, 0.4218 upon 96.25. Like this. And the final answer is 0.1043. See here, the concepts and values are the important. Calculation is too easy to do. Yes. हाँ चाले चलो. Now, is there any doubt or any query about this? No. That may differ from question to question. See here. Mm, preferences, we have something. Yes. Redeemable at a par. Now 70. Redeemable after at a premium of 10%. प्लीज रिमेंबर, अगर इसमें क्वेश्चन पूछा है तो ये क्वेश्चन आपको भी होना चाहिए. लास्ट टू सेकंड लो. बी हियर. एवरीवन बी हियर. See, in this question, so whatever we have discussed, question number 11, in this question nothing is given. That's why we have assumed that RV is equal to 100. But see, in this question number 7, it is clearly mentioned that after 3 years at a premium of 10%. तो अगर प्रीमियम होगा तो हम वो 100 में प्लस करेंगे. कब? रिडक्शन के टाइम पे, इश्यू के टाइम पे नहीं. यहाँ पे कंफ्यूजन सबको यही होता है कि इश्यू किस वैल्यू पे होता है, रिडक्शन किस वैल्यू पे होता है. Okay, if no questions and queries are there, I'm not going to waste more time. Write down the next title. Write down the next title. The next title is capital structure. Capital structure. We are going in one sequence, okay? First sequence, we have identified from where companies are getting the money. Which are the sources? Okay? सबसे पहले हमने क्या सीखा कि कहाँ से मनी मिल सकता है. There are 4 sources: equity, preference, debt, and internal sources. Then after we have calculated the cost of equity, cost of preference, cost of debt, and cost of internal sources. Now in the third stage, now we try to identify that if company want to use equity, preference, or debt, what will be the composition of that key particular capital. Let me take one particular example, then after we go for the further discussion about the capital structure. You may note down the title, so you will get the clear idea that from what point of view, which point of view I am discussing this example. Title is capital structure. Wait, beta. I hope so. Screen is visible to all of you. Okay. See. How many are you? Like a tea? आप में से किसको चाय पसंद है? How many like other than tea, like coffee, milkshake, anything else except the tea? Okay, almost 50% are agree that they are like a tea.
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me how we can make a tea? I'm not going to cook here the tea, but I want one particular topic from you. Okay, we required some ingredients. Okay, some components, some elements. Which?
Milk.
Okay, one is milk. Number two is sugar. Number three is tea. Okay, and tea masala. Four components are there. In some of case, water is also there. Okay, tulsi, adrak, everything. But now stop. Now, be here. If I want a particular standard टी जो फेमस होटल्स में मिलती है, लाइक टी पोस्ट, लाइक नकलंक, लाइक कोडियार, लाइक Ketla Baba, yes. Okay. These are the famous tea stalls in the Rajkot. Okay. So for making that particular standard tea, I need to fix the standard. Okay. In that particular 1 liter milk, I need to add this gram of sugar, this gram of tea, chai pattis, and this component, small component of tea masala or ginger or something else, whatever we are adding. Okay, are we clear? But suppose some customers come to you and they said, sir, we have some issues, like as we have diabetes. So in that case, what is your composition? Without sugar. Okay, only you use only 3 components: tea, milk, and tea masala. No sugar. Are you getting my point? Now, one third person come to you and my BP is low and I want a tea, but tea must be more with more sugar. तो उसमें क्या होगा? Are you getting my point? So, as per the requirement of customers, as per the requirements of some peoples, we are changing the component. We does not have any particular standard. Yes, we have standard to make that particular tea, but as per the requirement, as per the demand, we are changing that component. We are changing that the proportion of components. So here T means our capital structure. T means capital structure is a combination of, जैसे टी किसका कॉम्बिनेशन है? मिल्क, शुगर, टी एंड टी मसाला. These 4 are there. Similarly, it is a combination of equity, preference, debt, and internal sources. Are we clear? Capital structure means a combination of these 4 elements, these 4 ingredients: equity, preference, debt, and internal sources. Now, it's depend upon a company nature, it's depend upon the company size, it's depend upon the company vision, it's depend upon the company structure, that what will be the component of each and every capital in the capital structure. In some of companies, like as somebody is having diabetes, so in that case only 3 components are there. In some of companies you will find only equity, debt, and internal sources. In some of companies you will find equity and debt. In some of companies you find only equity. In some of companies you find preference and debt. In some of companies you find only debt. In some of companies you find only internal source, no equity, no preference, no debt. Are we clear? As per the various component, as per the various requirement of the company, the capital structure will differ from company to company. Let's try to understand the theoretical part, and then after we go for no practical questions in this. Okay. Generally, capital is derived from 2 prime sources: equity and debt. What should be the proportion of debt and equity in the capital structure of the company? That we are going to discuss here. Capital structure refers to the securities and proportion of amount that make up a capitalization. It is a mixture of, now this is important for all of you. This is the mix of different sources of long-term sources, like as equity, preference, debenture, long-term loans, and retained earnings. So, in a one line, in a simple language, I can say that capital structure means mixture of equity, preference, debt, and retained earnings. Or in a second language, I can say that it's represent the composition, it's represent the proportion of various sources of finance. The term capital structure refers to the relationship between a various long-term sources financing such as the equity, preference, debt, and internal sources. Are we clear? Concept is clear, picture is clear. Capital structure means a mixture of equity, debt, and internal sources, including preferences. Okay, now please note down this formula. Actually, it is from the point of accounting point of view. Capital structure. Your capital structure means total assets minus current liabilities. If I give you the balance sheet of XYZ Limited, and from that balance sheet, I ask a question that find out the capital structure of the company, you need to do this. Okay, already we have balance sheet, it means total is given to you. You need to find out the current liabilities and you need to deduct the current liabilities from the sum total of assets. You will get the capital structure. Or in a second way, I can write like this: capital structure is equal to equity capital plus preference capital plus debentures plus loans and plus other long-term liabilities. Are we clear? Including the reserve and surplus. Again I repeat, इस तरह से भी हम कर सकते हैं टोटल असेट्स माइनस करंट लायबिलिटीज, और कैपिटल स्ट्रक्चर इज इक्वल टू इक्विटी प्लस प्रेफरेंस प्लस डिबेंचर प्लस बॉन्ड्स प्लस लॉन्ग टर्म loans including reserve and surplus. Are we clear? Reserve and surplus means internal source. All of you, those are here in online mode. Are we clear about the concept? Okay, good. Okay, now this question may be asked in a final examination or in a mid examination. What do you mean by optimum capital structure?
Maximum.
Read out and tell me which is the important point here in just first para. Just read the first para and try to identify what do you mean by this word, optimum capital structure.
Maximum. Maximize the capital of
अच्छा, मैं इसको वो टी के एग्जांपल से एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ, ओके? आपको इजीली समझ में आएगा, उसके बाद हम टेक्निकली इसको देखेंगे. अगर मैं आपको ऐसी चाय ऑफर करूँ, ओके, कि जिसकी कॉस्ट मान लो कि 100 रुपीज़ है, वो चाय पीने के बाद आपको जो सेटिस्फेक्शन मिलना चाहिए वो 100 रुपीज़ के इक्वल नहीं, तो क्या इसको हम एक लेवल की चाय कह सकते हैं? नो. आर यू एग्री विथ मी? आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? मैं आपको 100 रुपीज़ पे कर रहा हूँ और आप मुझे चाय पिला रहे हो, लेकिन वो चाय में उतना दम नहीं है जितना 100 रुपीज़ की चाय में होना चाहिए, ओके? और दूसरे स्टॉल पे हम जाते हैं टी पोस्ट में, और वहां पे मैं टी पीता हूँ, तो मैंने 60 रुपीज़ पे की है, लेकिन 60 रुपीज़ के सामने मेरा जो सेटिस्फेक्शन है, दैट सेटिस्फेक्शन इज नियर बाय 100 रुपीज़. तो मैं इसको क्या कहूँगा? ये मेरे ऊपर से ऊपर का, जो मेरा एक लेवल था, वो लेवल से ऊपर का सेटिस्फेक्शन. आई एम एक्सट्रीमली सेटिस्फाइड विथ टी. क्या होगा? आई एम एक्सट्रीमली सेटिस्फाइड विथ टी. सो व्हाट इज टू पैरामीटर्स हियर? वन, दैट इज द कॉस्ट ऑफ टी, एंड नंबर टू इज बेनिफिट रिसीव्ड फ्रॉम दैट पर्टिकुलर टी. तो यहाँ पे भी हम वही कर रहे हैं. Optimum capital structure means the mixture of debt and equity in a such a way that will give you the maximum market value at a minimum cost. Are you getting my point? Optimum capital structure is equal to maximum market value at a minimum cost of capital. Okay, are we clear about this? Two parameters are there: maximum market value, and number two is minimum cost of capital. But in a real world, we don't have any particular standard. Okay, like is suppose 50% equity, 50% debt, so we can get the optimum capital structure, or a 70% equity, 30% debt is equal to optimum capital structure. ऐसा कोई स्टैंडर्ड नहीं है इन रियल वर्ल्ड. इतना इक्विटी होगा, इतना डिवेंचर्स या डेप्ट होंगे तो आपका कैपिटल स्ट्रक्चर है वो ऑप्टिमम हो जाएगा, मतलब कि आपकी फर्म की वैल्यू 100% हो जाएगी. ऐसा कोई रियल फॉर्मूला है नहीं. It is just a hypothetical, it is just a theoretical concept. Now coming to the next. Okay, already I explained with the example of tea. Okay, somebody like only tea with tea, diabetes, somebody likes tea with sugar, somebody likes tea with sugar plus chai patti, somebody likes tea plus sugar plus tea plus chai masala, like this. In some of companies you will find only equities. In some of companies you will find equity and preference. In some of companies you will find equity and debentures. In some of companies you will find equity, preference and debenture. Again, this all the structures or forms of capital structure is depend upon the company and objective of the company. If a company wants money for a long term, generally the company goes for equity share. Okay, all the companies, those are manufacturing capital goods. Okay, capital goods means giant products. Generally, they have equity shares. And the regular companies like Reliance, Tata, and other famous companies of the India, they are following the last structure: equity, preference, and debt. Combination of these three. Are we clear about equity shares only, equity and preference, equity and debt, and all the component equity, preference, and debt? Okay, now the important point may be asked in an 8-mark question. Please note down the main title. Determinants of capital structure. Determinants of capital structure. The question may be asked like this: explain the factor affecting to capital structure. Explain the factors affecting to capital structure. तो इसको हम determinants भी बोलते हैं, factors भी बोलते हैं. Are we clear? Question किस तरह से आएगा? This question may be asked in an 8-mark question, क्योंकि ये lengthy question है. Okay, now one by one we will discuss. Time है हमारे पास? कोई बात नहीं, चलो. So from the next class we will go for the discussion about the determinants of capital structure. Meanwhile, if you have any query, any question, note down in your chat box, or here if you have anything to share, please raise your hand. And rest of peoples, please write your numbers. Thank you so much for joining. Have a nice day. Circulate one page